Good morning, everyone online. Can you guys hear me okay? Somebody will just let me know you guys can hear me. All right, awesome. Thank you, Hannah. Appreciate the thumbs up. Good morning, good morning. We saved you a front row spot. Where's everyone? Okay, they're coming. Come on in, Jay. I know. I even wore a Packers dress for you guys today.
Nice. I'm the only Super Bowl guy.
I haven't been able to wear this because the only time I went to the game it was a little cold for a dress. Give you guys another minute to climb on in here.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Thank you for allowing me.
Of course.
You guys sell your grilling?
I'll start.
Yeah, I've got a few things to go over. We've got compliance coming up first because Lisa's got to run out, and then I've got a few things. Then we've got your slides jumped in.
I think I added something right up front.
Oh, sweet. Good job.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'll touch on that.
Perfect. All right, you want me to hit the gong?
Been ready.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. Good morning or afternoon now. It's officially afternoon. So you guys look all cozy and warm. We're gonna get going.
Sweet. All right, I'm gonna kick it off with one kind of thought or feeling. And I'd be remiss if I didn't at least address it. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. Okay. And it's admittedly, I don't think I'm the most educated to say everything that's going on as I'm trying to figure it out myself. But I would be remiss if I didn't at least recognize, like, I know a lot of people are going through a lot of things in their in terms of their thoughts and feelings around what's happening. Um, and my commentary is apolitical from this standpoint, but I'll make one statement. It's shocking to me that there is a lack of leadership in the entire situation. And that's a comment whether you left, right, north, south, east, west. If you're pink, yellow, blue, red, whatever it might be. And I recognize like a lot of people have a lot of feelings to it. And so I have a message for you in that way. Be there for your friends. Okay. And my message to it is I was trying to think about yesterday how I was going to address this with the group. I get a lot of Christmas cards. Okay. And I get the Christmas cards, we collect them, and then in the middle of January, we throw them away. Except there's one Christmas card I keep every single year. Every single year, there's one, and I keep it, and I actually have all of them on my desk. And for context, I pulled the Christmas card that I got this year. It was on my desk, and I was looking at it, and it's from a guy named Dick Pieper. Dick Pieper ran a company called Pieper Power for a long time. Pieper Power is the largest commercial electrician business in southeastern Wisconsin. Dick is an incredible civic leader, an incredibly philanthropic man, has done a lot of really cool things in his life. But this year's Christmas card, I wanted to share with you because I thought it was appropriate based on where the state of the world is. And this is what his message was. Family is the indispensable subunit of a thriving culture, but friendship, sorry, I got to move this. Friendship provides the architecture. Friendship is intentional, it is liberating, it is volitional, And if you are fortunate enough to have deep friendships that traverse the vagrancies of life and its valleys, you know the difference between having to get along and choosing to get along. While we both love our families and are grateful for them, they were gifts chosen by others. Friendships is the gift we get to choose for ourselves. Friendship is unnecessary, like philosophy, like art, like the universe itself, for God did not need to create. It has no survival value. Rather, it is one of those things which give value to survival. And then the thing that I thought about most when I was trying to figure out what it is that I'd say is no medicine is more valuable, none more efficacious, none better suited to the cry of all our temporal ills than a friend to whom you may turn to for consolation in time of trouble, and which whom we may share our happiness in time of joy. At the end of the day, I'd share with you this. A lot of people are going through a lot of things and have a lot of feelings around what is happening in the state of the world. And my challenge to the group is be a good friend. And it's how you help be a good friend, it's how you help navigate it. And you know, from my seat in terms of trying to lead others and shape people's mindsets to change their behaviors, it's disheartening to me seeing that there seems to be a lack of leadership into what's going on, and it's just allowing things to happen. And if you need a friend or you need someone to talk to, like lean on someone to the left of you and the right of you, or give me a call and I'm happy to talk through it with you. Cool. All right. With that, I'll turn it back over to Dana.
All right, guys. For those of you that are new in the room, we like to say this one together. So we're going to kick it off. To build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And then, of course, we're God, family, then business, and our Y4C2Ts. All right, so we're going to shake things up and do things a little bit different today because we've got some appointments coming up. So Miss Lisa's going to come up and do compliance updates real quick. Oh, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so this is a reminder about FinCEN. If you recall, we talked about this at the end of last year, and this is what I do right now. And so the deadline for this FinCEN reporting to start got pushed back, and now it is ahead of us. It is March 1st. So if you want to move ahead. So a reminder of what is FinCEN? It's the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. It's part of the Treasury, and they detect and prevent financial crimes like money laundering through financial transparency. Go ahead. So when do you need to be thinking about FinCEN? It's when it's residential property. So it's a single family, 1 to 4 family co-ops, mixed use with residential component, or even a piece of vacant land that's going to be intended for residential use. So if someone's going to live there, then yes, that could trigger the FinCEN rule. And it has to also be a non-finance transfer. So we're talking cash, seller financing, private financing, nothing where, like, you know, Gustavo's not involved in it. Any lender's not involved with it. So that's the other thing you need to look for. And then the third part of it is the buyer is a legal entity or trust. So if they're not a legal entity or trust, you don't have to be reporting. So those are the 3 things to look for. And then why? Again, it's to combat money laundering. And entities and trusts have historically been used to obscure ownership and sources of funds. So they're trying to eliminate that obscurity. And who does the reporting? It's not you real estate agents. We do not do the reporting. It's the person preparing the closing statement. So a title company or an attorney. Hooray for Lynn.
Yep. And they talked about this if you guys didn't
Yeah.
get that. So
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm pretty sure we have a training link that may have already been shared to the KW Facebook
recorded.
group.
Yeah.
So recorded training link, so.
Okay.
Everybody's interested.
Yep. So what should you do and not do? You should know which deals might trigger the reporting and advise clients early on that reporting may be required, and encourage your client to work with the title or closing agent to provide the needed info promptly, or else they might not be going to the closing table. In fact, they're not going to the closing table if they don't do it. So your job is to explain to your clients that they may need to fill that out, or work with their attorney or title company to fill that out. Don't collect or transmit social security numbers or other sensitive information, and don't prepare or submit a report yourself. That's not for you to do. Next. Oh, and that was, oh, if I could back up one moment, now in zip forms, all of the templates now have the FinCEN sheet in there. So if you are coming across, you have something coming up that you think is going to be triggering this rule, then you now have what you need as far as a document to get started and show the client with what they're going to need to provide. And then the other thing unrelated to FinCEN, this is the one and only compliance line number. So
Pull out your phones and put
Yep.
it in there because we're still getting calls to the old
Yeah.
line.
So if you call the old line, nothing happens. We don't know. And we can't help you if we don't know that you need help. So you can call this number, you can text this number. If you still have the old 262 number in your phone, delete it. This is the only one.
And this is programmed in the KW MKE app. So all of you should have the MKE app. And if you're not using it on the daily, please do.
Someone's using it now.
Sweet.
Okay.
That's your cue.
Was that you?
Oh.
See?
It works.
It works. There you go. Thanks, Sharice, for demonstrating. Oh, yes, Sheila.
Your van. I just kind of have a quick question on the FinCEN thing. If we're on the listing side and the buyer is paying cash, do we as agents have anything we have to do, or do we just let like Opus Title or whoever our title company know that?
You'll still want to alert your seller that they may be required, because Lynn, correct me if I'm wrong, but the seller in that case, if the buyer's cash, the seller has to report information too.
I believe so.
Yeah. So you're,
March 1st.
yep. So even though your seller is not the one, making a cash LLC purchase, if they're involved in it because their buyer is, they have to report info too. Yes.
So just to be clear, there's a template in, zip forms. But we're not the ones telling them to fill this out.
No, you're just handing it to them, like, be ready for this. This is the information that's going to
So
be
it's just
needed
an
from you.
FYI from
Yeah.
us to them, this is coming your way.
Yep. Yep.
And
Oh.
if they don't fill it out, but it's required in the transaction, it will not close.
Brooke.
Is that for deals that are going under contract after March 1st or ones that are closing?
Lynn's going,
We don't know.
be ready for it. So anything you have that is closing in March, I would be ready for it.
Yeah, I would think that it's anything, I don't know that it's necessarily under contract, it's gonna probably be anything closing, but
Yep.
I'll get confirmation.
Yep. But I would just, it doesn't hurt if you tell them to have this ready and they end up not needing it, okay. But people are gonna get upset if, they find out at the 0 hour. So I would, until we know for sure, I would just go ahead and give them the piece of information.
Tony.
And this could be like a specific question based on the scenario, but for those of us that work with investors that utilize hard money loans,
Mm-hmm.
do you know whether would fall under this?
Yes.
Because even, yeah,
One says yes.
all right, got it.
So, yeah,
100%, yes.
so if you like Tony have investors who do that, it doesn't hurt to even give them the information now and just be like, hey, going forward, this is going to be required. Here's the sheet on what's going to be needed. You might want to, just to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyone who works with investors who do this kind of transaction a lot, it doesn't hurt to just get them ready for it now. Anything else?
We have some people taking pictures of this one specific side, so I just put it back.
Okay, cool.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
All right, guys, we're gonna pivot real quick, bucket fills, and then John's gonna come up here. So what bucket fills do you guys have over the last couple of weeks? Yes, Mark.
I know that she's on our team, but Briar was nice enough to do photos for us for team pictures and that.
And they came out great. I love the new photos.
Mark for also getting us to do it because it's like herding cats. It doesn't work very well for us, so thank you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, what other bucket fills do you guys have? Yeah, Tony.
I'd like to fill Lynn's bucket and Focus Title. We've had a couple of dynamic transactions. that-
Doozies.
Where there were just sellers that due to either age or medical issues or whatever, just need a little extra attention and TLC. And Lynn was just incredibly mindful and gracious to go visit them where they needed to be and to travel and go meet them on site. And it was just awesome knowing that not only does the deal quote unquote get done, but it gets done with that level of service. And Lynn, we just really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Mike Weber.
I think Tony and I had the same deal. We were working with Lynn, but she did the same exact for mine, so.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you, Lynn, for being amazing. All right, any other bucket fills before we move forward? All right, guys. Well, John is going to come up and just speak with you guys for about 5 minutes.
Oh, there we go.
You didn't know it. You're going to be famous today.
Right.
Joe.
All right, so I'm sure most of you know me, but if you don't, I'm John Warren with A Plus Mortgage. We do have an office downstairs, and we just want to express gratitude that we have the opportunity to share office space with so many incredible individuals that really are operating businesses at top tier levels. It's great to be around that energy. We like to contribute to it wherever we can. And hopefully my pacing and being on the phone all the time tells you that, you know, that's my kind of jam. How do I just space? So this was the slide I shared last time, but I just wanted to do a quick refresher because I had 3 cash offers accepted this weekend that were highly competitive, you know, between the Shorewood area, Washington Heights area, in Wauwatosa, etc. There are some extremely competitive deals still. This can be the game changer for you because our cash program is guaranteed financing. I don't care if they lose their job. I don't care what happens. The only way they're out of that transaction is if they walk away and choose to be sued or walk away from their earnest money. You will not get a denial from us. The other stuff is bridge loan. If you have a seller that has lots of equity, it needs that for the purchase, or if they need the buy before you sell program, which is where we will literally finance kind of a hard money deal to get them in the next house. So you secure that listing today and we'll refinance them when their house sells because they would not qualify without the program. Little bit about our company. Like everyone else, we do all the cookie cutter stuff, right? We do conventional, we do FHA, we do VA, we do non-QM, we do bank statement, DSCR. We kind of do it all. We kind of specialize in all of it too. We're not just a jack of all trades. We've been in the industry for about 25 years. So the perk of our company that's unique is everything we do is in-house. Our processing is in-house, our underwriting is in-house, and the final decisions are always made in A Plus's walls. So that gives you guys flexibility because I had 2 agents call me this week. Hey, my condo deal's falling apart. This lender says it's not warrantable. What does that even mean for most of you? Like, that's just, we can't finance it. But really, many times it's because that lender is running into something that they won't allow an exception on or only views it one way. I've yet to deny a condo and being at A plus in 6 years. Not saying that there will come a day, but every time someone has told me something's unwarrantable, we have found a way to finance it. So for you guys, that's a powerful tool because we can finance brand new build condos where I know no one else can. And it gives you that competitive edge and assurance that you don't have your customer go through that process and feel like their deal is blowing up at the last second.
So suppose the condo is unwarrantable because they don't have 10% of the funds going back into the reserves. You can still okay that?
Well, that only applies to people that are doing less than 10% down. If someone's doing 10% down, that rule doesn't apply altogether. And 90% of the time, that condo association is not filling out their budget appropriately. So we actually work with them to file it correctly. I've done that 3 times in the last 2 years. So,
because I know condo associations that intentionally keep it below that 10%.
yep.
So that the person buying it has to have more equity when they buy the home. They think of those.
Yep. And for anyone that has clients that are struggling just to have down payment funds, We have access to WIDA. It's not something you should be scared of. If you need to close in 21 days, I don't have a problem with closing a WIDA in 21 days. So it's just another tool for you guys to close more deals. What I can give you from a commitment for A+ is I'm always going to answer the phone. You already know I pace. Joe's always there. He's my right-hand man. Mark Farrow, who we haven't seen, he's also in the background all the time. We're going to process those loans 24/7. Even if I'm on the phone, we're taking care of your clients. And that matters because speed of getting these clients pre-approved leads to excitement, which leads to closed transactions.
Who did the artwork on the board?
Yeah.
That's
That's
Joe.
amazing.
Yeah.
Good
That's
job.
Joe. He's
So good.
the artist.
Y'all haven't seen it, go look down in front of their office on the whiteboard. Seriously, like really cool house drawing.
There's two more things we can guarantee you. One, all of your pre-approvals are as good as cash. We're going to review the income, assets, credit. I will never give a pre-approval if someone isn't going to make it to the closing table without a material change that is just unforeseeable. And then we'll strategize with you guys once they're pre-approved. With those pre-approval letters, we'll customize them however you need, whenever you need. When you're writing an offer, we know that's always on the weekend or on the evenings. No big deal. Just give us a call. We'll update that. We'll call the listing agent. Anything we can do on our arsenal, we want to be your friend and resource to help that, whether we're the lender or not. We're not looking to take everybody's business away from other people or any of that. We want to be a friend in the office that we can help you grow your business regardless of who's doing the deal. That's all I got for this
Awesome.
week.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, guys, some office updates. We've been adding more amazing agents to the office. Ryan Ferguson, he's been doing Ignite. Jessica Olson, she's also now on Joe Singsheim's team, so I'm sure you guys have seen her in the pictures. Marsha Luckett, and then we have Raytisha and Cassie. So we're excited to have everybody on with us. Welcome. And then again, the compliance helpline, this was that slide that Lisa was probably trying to reference earlier, but just make sure you guys have this phone number in your phones, please. I see a few of you taking pictures, so I'll wait a second. But 414-368-9359 is your friend. All right, year-end reporting update. We've mentioned this a few times, but we are doing 1099 forms, so they are going to be mailed directly to you. Expected delivery first week of February. Make sure that if you have moved, you notify us of your address updates. I know a lot of you guys have. The following reports will be ready no later than January 30th. Closed transaction reports, itemized expense reports, and deduction reports. So for all of you guys that are waiting on that, they are working nonstop to try to get everything to you guys. And then scholarships are available through the Metro MLS. So again, they're giving away $1,000 scholarships to graduating high school seniors across Wisconsin. Applications must be submitted by March 31st. So just know that these programs are out there and we can get you more information on it. All right. Success. We're doing awards for last month for December. So congratulations, Alex and Martha. Tapping. And Kathleen Wooten has your cup downstairs. So we have cups now for the capper. So we do have your cup downstairs. And congratulations to Zach Hoey's in Florida. So way to go. And Jeremy in the back, congratulations. All right, guys, our home run club. So for those of you that don't know, that means you have to have at least one listing taken, one contract written, and one contract closed in the month of December. So Alex, Alfredo, Brad, Dan Schmidt, James, Jay, Jeremy, Joseph, Katie, Marcus, Ryan, Stephanie, Tabitha, Tony, and Cherise. So congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. And then Miss Emily did over 3 million in the month closed sales volume for December. So we're super pumped for that. And if you guys haven't heard, she's going to be at Family Reunion on stage as well for TikTok. We've got Smiths that are going to be on stage for open houses, and Katie's going to be on stage for GCI referral to referral from agent partners across the US. So super stoked. If you haven't gotten your tickets, come watch all of these amazing agents get on stage. For those of you standing, guys, there are seats. Please feel free to come in and sit. Come on, we promise they don't bite. Come on in. All right. Ashley Baker killed it. 3 million plus a month closed sales volume. She is killing it. Say a prayer for her. She's currently at the ER with possible emergency gallbladder surgery. So if you guys will say a prayer for her, yeah, woke up at 5 a.m. with text messages from her. So hopefully all is going good. And Miss Kaylee did over 1 million in month close sales volume for December. So congratulations. And Let's Go did over 3 million. So way to go, everybody on the Let's Go team. And MREA Medina Real Estate did over 2 million. And then Simplified Realty Group did over 2 million. So congratulations. And Level Up did over 2 million. So congratulations, Zach and Don and the whole crew. And Schmidt Group did over 1 million. So congratulations to everyone on the Schmidt Group. And Krickerbergs did over 1 million. And Outdoor Dreams did over 1 million. So congratulations. And Goodland Collection did over 1 million. And Wisconsin Premier Group did over 1 million. Way to go, guys. Guys and girl now. All right, guys. So individual volume just for December. Obviously, we're not going to be doing year to date here because all of you would be trying to figure out who's getting awards at the banquet next month, and we won't share that. So individual volume for December, Emily coming in at almost $4 million in 1 month. That's killer. Ashley Becker over 3, Kaylee at over 1, Katie almost 1 million, Carol almost 1 million, Liz King at 777, Karen Nemeth at 729, Callis Real Estate 599, Amy Ryback 570, and Ryan 567. So congratulations, everyone on the list. And then December group volume, Let's Go at almost 3 or just over 3.5 million. Medina Real Estate Group at 2.9, Simplified at 2.7, Level Up at just over 2 million, Schmidt Group and Krickerbergs just over 1.5 million. Outdoor Dreams also over 1.5 million, and Goodland Collection at 1.2, Wisconsin just over 1 million, and Mine Right. So way to go, guys. And then December team volume, Reliance Real Estate did over 1 million, and the Bumgardners almost 1 million. So congratulations, killer month. Something new that we wanted to share out and just kind of put out there, PC Group, guys. It is a huge accomplishment. Dawn is our amazing productivity coach that helps lead the way. We currently have, what, 50, 60 now. We're 60 agents, guys, in productivity coaching. She has a lot of people. They're killing it. We have several that are graduating this month, but they did almost $1.8 million last month, and they closed 6 units. So that's huge, guys, because we're seeing progress. So congratulations to all of you in productivity coaching. All right, I'm not going to make you get up and dance today. But we just wanted to let you know for profit share, it was just over $7,000, and that's great for a December month. So we're excited for that. And if you're not getting a piece of profit share, come see me and let's talk about how you can get someone in your downline and start receiving passive income, because that's huge. Training and education, our calendar is filled with tons of activities. Hopefully you guys have been attending Ignite. We have tons of classes coming up for February, so we will get that calendar out to you guys. But coming up next, we've got Janine teaching on the 28th, and then the Jean Geckos on the 29th. So we're excited to end that out. And then February calendar, it is created, but we'll start seeing it in the emails. And if you're not already syncing it to your calendar, please come see me and I will show you how to do that. But it'll help get all the classes on your schedule. And then headshot day. Many of you need new updated headshots. February 20th. Didn't mean it like that, but you keep coming to me saying, when's headshot day? So here it is, February 20th, 12 to 3 headshot day at the Stone House. Guys, these fill up fast, and then you all come and ask, when's the next one? Because there's a wait list. So here's your chance. They're already what? Oh, they are already?
Yeah.
We just announced it today.
I think you just filled it like PC.
No. So here.
Yeah, it went to PC.
Oh, all right, hold on.
Real quick, couple things. We're gonna do more of these. Obviously, there's a demand for them. This was the first one we were doing yet this year. We will know that there's already another one scheduled for March, so if you missed it. Also, this was announced at the 9 a.m. team meeting, which is where the conflict might have shown up, so I apologize for that. And I want to give you one forewarning. We have about a 30% no-show rate with a longer than long wait list. So I made the executive decision, moving forward in 2026, if you sign up for a slot that is free and you don't show, we
yes.
appreciate your donation to KW Cares.
Local.
$35.
Yes.
And it'll be added to your next invoice as a way to create a little accountability, and the world is run by those who show up, and if you show up, it's free.
Yes. Not to pick on Cassidy because she is new and a lot of you guys haven't met her, but she's a new agent with us. Her friend, if you haven't seen, she did some amazing photography for her and headshots, has agreed to start coming into our office and offering headshots for $20 for you guys. And I'm telling you, when you see her pictures, the work is amazing. So we're going to be offering that. Shania is also teamed up with her photographer friend, and they're going to get some dates on the schedule that they would be coming into the office to offer you guys headshots for $20 slots. All right. All right, family reunion again, huge lineup. If you haven't gotten your tickets, get your tickets. We've been able to access a lot of $7.99 tickets for a huge chunk of agents in the office through other agents selling them and across the country. So if you decide you want to go last minute, don't just jump online and buy one for $1,099, or I think they're up to $1,199 now. We've been able to find a lot of agents $7.99 tickets. And then 2025 awards, save the date, RSVP, nominations, all the QR codes. We've been sending these out, but that is happening at Maddie's February 17th. So I see a lot of phones out. Take your pictures. There's two different ones. One's to RSVP. One is for the fun awards that we do here in the office, and you got to vote for your peers. So I'll leave this up for a second as I see lots of phones in the air. All right, and we will post this slide out also on social media, and it's been going out in email. Marketing updates, there's 12 direct campaigns. I know for a fact that a lot of you guys are not using these because you're coming into my office saying, hey, what's a good 36 touch? What's a good touch I should be doing? Guys, we have the best marketing concierge team in the country. Truthfully, I come from the Texas South region, which is corporate region, and they don't offer this for the offices. Charlie and the team have done an amazing job creating these. They already have stuff out there for Valentine's Day, March Madness, spring cleanings. They have created the content for you. It's a plug and play, no problem solution for you to be able to use it. So please, please, please use it. And another slide for Headshot Day. KWMKE store is back. So a lot of you guys have been asking when it was coming back. It is back. It is open only until February 10th. So if you want to order custom gear, here's your chance. We'll post this up, and then the items are expected to come in about 2.5 to 3 weeks after. I see a lot of phones up, so I'll hang tight for 1 second. All right. And then deal defense coming up, contracts and compliance. So this is going to be with Ashley and Steph Mondays at noon on Zoom every Monday. So make sure you guys attend. And then Mr. Charlie Stelle.
Wait.
Dana, that it's the sorry store closed.
Okay, we'll get Bella to fix that.
Opening soon.
They're ready. They didn't want to miss out.
Yeah, no kidding. All right. You guys good? All right. So you guys remember December 5th, I came in here and talked about a strategy called company exclusives. Do you remember this? All right.
Yeah.
I'll walk you through it. I'll walk you through it for context. Okay. Something in our environment is changing soon. You need to know what that is and why it is, especially if you use excludeds as a strategy. Did I get your attention?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let me help you understand what it is. I don't normally do this, but there's a certain company in town that is pushing a narrative nationally, not so much locally, around an exclusive strategy to do more dual agency opportunities. Dual agency opportunities have a selfish interest. The interest is do more in-house deals in order to drive more revenue for the company to increase and enhance their stock position. It's the reason why this company just did a major acquisition through the Anywhere brands to acquire Coldwell Banker, Century 21, and a variety of other brands. Okay. Let me help you understand the strategy, because we do have associates who utilize the strategy, and it's not exclusive to any one company. The strategy is this. It's a 3-phase marketing approach where someone takes a listing as a private exclusive listing. They don't go on the MLS, they go excluded, they expose it within an ecosystem. They market it as quiet, private, or exclusive, and the goal is to test price and term or sell off market. If they don't sell it off market, they then go into a coming soon phase that is a pre-market before they launch that allows them to generate public interest, which is usually the delayed list within and of Milwaukee. And then it goes into a public launch via the MLS. They go live, okay? And the brand promise that this company is using is more insights, more homes, more transparency, which I find wildly ironic. It's not more transparent. Okay. I'm choosing my words carefully because I know that this is a public forum. So that's the strategy for why anybody would use excluded. And anyone can use excluded. The purpose of this strategy is this: price discovery without public days on market penalty, internal demand leverage in order to drive more opportunities for dual agency, and the seller to have more control over their privacy. And look, I will tell you this: there are people in the world that are willing to forego the highest price in order for the transaction to not close publicly. A variety of reasons. A teacher who might be leaving a community where she teaches. Maybe a Bucks superstar who is about ready to be shipped out of town. A public company CEO who knows they're losing their job, but it hasn't been announced to Wall Street yet, but they want to start the process of their personal move. Variety of reasons. Maybe a fire chief or a police chief that is maybe taking a new job in a new city, but they don't want to signal it to their constituents. Lots of reasons, okay, of why it would be used. There's a risk to utilizing this strategy at scale on an everyday basis. The risks are reduced exposure, which creates reduced competition, conflict of interest around a product first, not client first strategy. Okay, product first would be in terms of a nefarious intent, is what I would call it, because it pushes a strategy that enhances the listing agent's leverage of controlling demand, which deprioritizes seller goals. There's an elevated risk of fair housing, and there is currently regulatory friction and litigation. This was the entire purpose behind NAR's policy around clear cooperation, which is being challenged legally right now. Okay. Now, I looked into two major studies that studied this strategy. One is Bright MLS, which is the largest MLS across the country. And from 2019 to 2023, homes that were on the active market sold for 18% of more than those that sold off market. And Zillow last year completed a study where they looked at off-market transaction resulted in 2% lower than similar homes on the active market. And across 23 and 24, sellers who did not use a public MLS platform left over $1 billion in sale proceeds, and critically majority non-white zip codes off MLS listings sold 3% less than MLS homes, more than double the discount in majority white areas. Okay, there are risks to this. Now, when it makes sense, as I alluded to earlier, is ultra high profile or privacy sensitive sellers. Privacy sensitive sellers touch a variety of price points. Okay. Also, number two would be unique luxury inventory, and that there's both the seller and buyer understands that they don't want it to hit on the public record. Variety of reasons why that occurs. Okay. These are more of the exceptions, not the norms, especially in southeastern Wisconsin. Now, this is where you need to be paying attention, because I know that there are some in this room that use the excluded strategy when maybe they take a listing, the seller's not ready to go to market, they take it and excluded for 2 or 3 months to prep the listing, but they don't want to lose the listing, and then they come to market and go to strategy. There is a new law in the state of Wisconsin that has been very quiet up until now. I'm just trying to help you be educated to it. Basically, Act 69, which is Assembly Bill 456, addresses in the state of Wisconsin the tension between clear cooperation and state law, following a lot of legal challenges to the NAR's policies and procedures and the MLS's enforcement of these. Okay. The Wisconsin context is Wisconsin is one of the first 2 states to publicly take the issue on to enact a law. The second state is the state of Washington. The legislation effectively targets the practices of keeping listings off MLS for extended periods of time. The goal of it is to protect consumers from dual agency traps and ensure fair housing by providing all buyers equal access to inventory. It means that Office exclusives are under intense scrutiny, and if a law mandates public exposure, the choice of the seller to keep it private may no longer be a valid shield for the agent. Okay? So there's three key takeaways. One, the state of Wisconsin is ending a loophole in terms of the clear cooperation policy by making it a state law, which supersedes any association policy. Okay. Two, it shifts the liability from policing these policies from an association level to a state level and government entity agent level. What it means is we've operated in an environment where there are already hefty penalties, which was $1,000 per day fine if you publicly marketed an excluded listing. Now it's going to go right to the DSPS, and they will look at terms of suspending licenses, which will have much more of an impact than $1,000 a day would. Okay. And the goal of it is to create consumer transparency. Now, here's what you really need to pay attention to. This doesn't go into effect until January 1 of 2027. Okay. The shift moves the public listing exposure from a trade association rule to a state licensing mandate. Okay. And the requirement stays the same. Within 1 business day, when you have an active contract, it has to be on the MLS. Here's for those that used excludeds now, what I want you to hear me is nothing really effectively changes. The rules of engagement just got more elevated because if we don't play exactly by the rules, you're going to go in front of the state licensing body. Make sense? Now, you have till January 1 of 2027. The reason I brought it up, and I brought it up last December, was Compass was trying to start this narrative in Milwaukee that excluded Compass exclusives were good for the market and good for the consumer because they were trying to combat this bill. The bill went through, and so I was using it as a way because on the west side of town, there was an agent who was very forthright in their dialogue around Compass exclusives. And so I was trying to get ahead of the narrative. Well, this bill will effectively kind of kill the opportunity to do that. And again, you'll still be able to take excluded listings. It's just saying you got to play by the rules, and there's a much bigger penalty to it. Make sense? There's two other things you have to pay. Really, one other thing you have to pay attention to. Compensation ban doesn't have much of an impact for us down here in Milwaukee. In other parts of the state, it will. Don't worry, it's not a ban. It's just a function of how money flows from a buyer side standpoint. Okay. Two, this is where it will impact your business. Any advertising that uses technology to add, remove, or modify property elements, such as virtual staging, removing power lines, or changing the color of the sky, must be explicitly disclosed. I don't think it's a bad thing. Okay, the sky, okay, it seems a bit of an overreach, but we've seen homes where someone will virtually flip a home to give a visual of what it could be. And then a buyer shows up and they're like, wait, the kitchen is not white, it's red. What the heck happened? I think that this is a good thing for our industry, right? Yeah. So the bottom line to this, and more so to make you aware of is what's coming down the pike, is this. My job is to pay attention to what's going on elsewhere in the country, because what happens elsewhere eventually ends up here, okay? The exclusive strategy was rampantly being used in New York, DC, Florida, Austin, Texas, Arizona, Chicago even. It never really made its way here in a way that, quite frankly, despite my opinions of the MLS was very forthright in thinking about shutting this down sooner rather than later with the way they handled the excludeds. My point to it is this. The Wild West of private listings is ending in Wisconsin before it really got going. Regulation is moving from the hands of the trade associations into the hands of the government, making compliance in the matter of state law, just not membership rules. What I want you to hear from me is you can still use excluded listings when appropriate and play by the rules. You will have no issues, but know that this is coming, and you'll probably hear about it more as the bill passes through from a media standpoint, but you probably hadn't heard much about it yet. Yes, Sharice.
Assuming the AI disclosure is for any advertising, not just MLS advertising, right? Like if I'm throwing something on Facebook or Instagram or what, right? Like it's any form of advertising.
If you alter an image to try and sell inventory, you will have to disclose it moving forward.
Just wanted to make sure it wasn't. Want to make sure I understood that it was everything, not just one specific thing, like an MLS.
Yeah.
Because it's a state law, not a question.
Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, the state law right now is clear and conspicuous brokerage affiliation. It's a really subjective term. You know, we don't really police it. And we always say, look, if you don't throw KW on it and someone catches you, just know that you're going to go to DSPS. And you just do the right thing, right? Same thing here. You have a little asterisk, hey, the color of the sky changed or whatever it might be. We'll figure this out.
But there's also filters, right? Like if I want to brighten up my photo, well, clearly the sky is going to be brighter, bluer. So like, how far down the rabbit hole are we going to go?
I don't think you're going down the rabbit hole. I think it's like, you know, you see those images that like the house is perfectly curated under a sunset.
Yeah.
You know.
Talking like extreme.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fish people would put an asterisk that states this image has been altered to make it more appealing.
But I think also it says modify property elements.
Yeah.
So if it's like the sky and not including the property, I think it's not.
No, but
that would fall into that.
But I heard of a lawsuit in Lake Country recently where someone altered the sky and the person purchased the home virtually as a second home. And then they got to the lake property and they realized that they never had sunsets over the lake and the images were altered. And that's an issue.
Yeah, it's not expensive if they have it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Does that consider,
Hey, go ahead.
does that consider, like, cause like I have my photographer put virtual staging like in the photo. Does that count, like if I post that photo on
Yeah.
Facebook, or is it that I have to put in there that these photos, like I have to write in like the description that, hey, these photos have been.
I think that
Photo, really?
I think the way you're describing it is appropriately disclosed. Part of it too is this doesn't go into effect till January of 2027. So we'll get some more guidance for you. Just want to give you a heads up.
So circling back to the excludeds,
Coming from
probably common knowledge, the Minor Realty Group takes a lot of excluded listings.
yeah.
And we have for many, many years, and we've gone through the roller coaster of modifications to what can and cannot be done with private listings or excluded listing. Two things that maybe leadership could help with, because it changes and it has many, many times over the years of what is considered approved quote unquote marketing and what is considered not approved public marketing, right? I mean, some of it's
Here, I'll tell you really quickly.
Yeah.
You cannot, in writing, send the address of the property you haven't excluded. Can't. That's pretty clear and cut.
Explain that more.
You take an excluded listing.
Yeah.
The only way you can actually let people know that you have it is by word of mouth.
But here in the TV.
Anything that you put in writing creates undue risk.
So does that even mean like on our website where it's like the excluded and the coming to?
Yeah.
I have until January.
The actress is on there.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not. You're
No,
right, it's not.
it's only community.
Yeah.
I have until January 1st of 2027 to figure out what we're gonna do with the excluded list internally.
Correct.
But I don't have that answer today.
Yeah, what if we hid something?
No.
Somewhere in this area.
Look, if you're trying to figure out a loophole to it,
You know it's wrong.
like, you know,
Let's be clear, we can still take one, a year from now, we can still take one and do verbal marketing only.
yes. Yes, you can still take an excluded listing and verbally market it. I'll tell you, I'm not as concerned about it in our internal environment. I got an email over the weekend from an agent in the top 20 in the MLS, publicly advertising an excluded listing who is not in our environment with photos and addresses. Like there's a lot of your peers who don't understand the rules of engagement on excluded. So I'm not as concerned internally because we're pretty good about educating. It's just the external environment needs to be paying attention to this. Yeah, James.
Okay, I just
How do excluded still exist when the language says that within one business day of the start date of the agency agreement? You need an agency agreement to do an excluded listing. The firm must advertise the property on an internet platform accessible to the general public. So how does that work together?
This is not the language within the state law. This is basically saying within 24 hours, your excluded listing contract has to be within the MLS portal,
Okay.
right? You have 20, that portion of the law won't change. The commentary of it has to be, except part of this is the research I did was more national in scope and tried to figure out how this was going to play in locally. So
When you take an excluded listing, in 24 hours, you can notify the MLS of it, send them a copy of it.
yep, and the disclosures that you'd sign when you would normally take an excluded listings would still apply.
I think the way that's up there.
Yeah, it must advertise the property. It wouldn't
This is-
advertise.
This will change by January next year.
Certainly nothing's changed in the way they look at the same.
Correct. The risk is higher.
I got one more.
Yeah.
So. Yes, there are situations where taking an excluded listing for privacy reasons, for, you know, where the seller is. Like you said, tons of different great examples. But I do know that a lot of people, myself included, do take an excluded listing to protect ourselves. Because we are gonna spend the next 2 or 3 months helping this client get the property prepped and ready. And, you know, we all know how it goes. Someone sees them clearing out the house and the neighbor's friend's cousin's dog sitter wants to buy it, and all of a sudden, hey, I don't need a realtor anymore, right? I have yet to find, and I've talked to a couple different attorneys, an intent to sell some sort of, I'm going to retain your services and I'm going to, as the client, list with you on this estimated date or on this date, so that we as the realtors who are providing our time, energy, resources, and expertise can somehow protect ourselves in this weird limbo of time of like, well, let's sign a listing agreement, but we're not gonna date it.
So
Yeah.
that's the purpose also from an excluded standpoint.
Mhm.
Here's the real life scenario. You have a seller who's been in their home for 50 years. You need 2 months to clean it out. You need to get your vendor contractor list in there. And the last thing you want to do is provide all your vendors all this work. And then all of a sudden they go list with somebody else.
Sure.
That there's a really good case study as to why people do that.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is really one of the
Appropriate panels. Correct.
I just didn't know if maybe that was something that we were moving away from and looking at an alternative to be able to
No.
have some sort of service agreement with a client with the intent to list.
No.
I know there's other states and markets that do have an intent to list.
No.
Okay,
That is the purpose of excluded in Wisconsin.
okay, perfect.
I am just making you aware because people make mistakes and the risk of the mistake is going to get higher. Yes, Pat.
Quick question. So when we say start date, that's the start date of the listing, not the date that they signed the contract, correct? So if I signed a contract with my people today and the start date's in 2 weeks.
Start of the
so
term
then the
date.
start date.
Yeah, it's the start of the
Just
term date.
being clear.
Yep. James.
To Tony's point, like, if that's a great scenario, right, you can protect yourself, but then what happens when in that month, 2 months before they wanted to list, someone comes up and says, we wanna buy it, you help facilitate the transaction, and then afterwards, they're saying, hey, I never went to market, I didn't sell my house for what it was actually worth, my realtor wasn't looking out for my best interest.
That's the purpose of the disclosures that you all have your clients sign when they go into an excluded listing contract. And those disclosures exist today.
I guess that's my question, like, is that adequate, or is it, do we now need
How do I do
something? Like, focus
The
on?
permission to exclude authorization form has 7 initials and 1 signature. It's really repetitive for a client to know you have limited visibility, you will not have signage, you will not syndicate to websites, other realtors will not see you. I mean, it is
It's really,
robust.
the other good thing about it in Wisconsin's different than most states because we have uniform contracts, it protects you. All right, good on this? All right. I want to touch on one other thing before we leave, and it's a lead gen thing you need to be thinking about. Okay. Perspective matters. The MLS released this maybe 2 weeks ago. Last year, the MLS came out with 15,000 listings with 6.2 billion in listing inventory. Sometimes I think we think as a group too small. What do I mean? Last year, the top 25% of agents only accounted for 10% of the transactional closed units. Okay. And the top 10 agents only took 4% of the overall listing inventory. 4% on 15,000 is effectively just around 1,000 units out of 15,000. Okay. My point to it and the question I have for you is, knowing that there were 31,000 transactional units with 15,000 listings, how do you say to myself, there's no possible way I won't hit my goals in 2026? There's more than enough business to be had. And you got to remember, mortgage applications are the highest they've been in over 3 years, and rates are the lowest they've been in over 3 years. The demand is there. There are more homeowners right now with equity or with loans above 6% than homeowners who have loans below 4%. Opportunity exists. Okay. I shared with you what's winning through December. I'll recap January here shortly, but we give you the data in order to give you an idea of what's winning to help you advise your clients at the highest level. And I gave you this grocery store market of the moment script. It's still valid and rings true today. But here's the thing I think you need to be thinking about as it relates to your Q1 activities. Market conditions and affordability. Okay. Many agents of ours started in 2019 or after. And we have to reset the order taking mindset to long-term client development and being a fiduciary. Okay. Here are the facts. We've had the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. We have the highest January mortgage application volume since January of 2022. December mortgage applications were up 4.5% versus November. That is not normally the case. December is usually the lowest. And so for the fact that it rose from November to December tells you and signals in the market. We have to reframe affordability with data. So what do I mean? You have to ask and curate questions to the content and the dialogue and communications you're having with your clients to get people to think, because you have to stimulate their thoughts. You have to stimulate their thoughts. What is the minimum income to buy, name a price point or a bands of price point, for homes in the communities you desire to serve? I bet you 80% of our group would not be able to answer that off the tip of their tongue. You should be communicating that to your clients. You should be signaling to them to show them how you can help them access and unlock the wealth building opportunity. What's the average equity people are sitting on within a named community or neighborhood? You should be communicating that. Most people don't know. Most people don't understand the equity they have in their home. And you have to share that with the segmented population within your database. What do I mean? Last year, the average age of a seller was 58 years old. You should be looking at your database and saying, okay, how am I communicating to that segment of the population who's sitting on listing inventory to help them unlock equity? The buyers and demands from a younger generation standpoint, or carrying and loaded with student debt, is how do I access this? What is my minimum income and what do I do? How do you communicate it and how do you tell those stories? Okay. So the 4 key questions I have for you as it drives your activities heading into 2026 are this. What is the income needed to buy the average price point home within the locale you desire to serve? How much equity are people sitting on? Communicate it. How many in your database know and or assume they can't buy or sell? A lot more than you'd think. We have to stimulate their thoughts to create their actions. And how will you work with those below the threshold over time? The answer to that question is yes. Okay. These are the 4 key questions that you have to be identifying with your content and how you communicate this in order to get people to think. And that's how you act as a fiduciary to create action. Okay. So the conclusion is this: equip your database with the concrete affordability and equity data, arm them with the information, create processes to convert more leads, and top producers should be broadcasting the rate environment and application trends to drive Q1 activity. Because the application trends will stimulate someone's thought who might be sitting on more equity than they realize, which might create a listing scenario for you. And on the inverse, a buyer who is currently renting, who doesn't know how much they need to make, who actually can afford more than they expected because they were just undereducated, our job is to educate them in order to create a buying environment. Make sense? There you go. Those are my 2 thoughts. 1, to help you understand the exclusive, why people use the strategy and what is changing in our environment, more so to just make you aware. And then 2 was, as you think about your lead generation, your content, your questions, your dialogues, your communication, How are you thinking about this differently than, quite frankly, the rest of the market as I see is doing it today? And how do you communicate that most effectively to your database? Cool? Sweet. All of this will be uploaded to the KW Realty MKE website right after this. Also available to you on the app. We record it on YouTube. So if you want to play it back, feel free. Cool? Lastly, I'd leave you with the message I started you with. Be there for your friends. Okay? The fastest way to build trust with someone, be there for them when you feel as if they are going through something that they need. And so as I started the meeting, here's how I would end the meeting. Like, reserve judgment, lend an ear to someone. There are people who are going through things and emotionally trying to process what's going on in the world. And if that's not you, that's totally cool, because some people are able to kind of block that out of their RAS. Just know that someone you care about likely is thinking about it, and just be there for them and be a good friend. That's how you get through it. Cool? All right, guys, it's a beautiful day. Thanks for showing up, and thanks for a little bit of the extra OT. Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lots of food. More food than y'all can eat. Got 20 soups downstairs.
20.
Yes, I made my chicken tortilla soup. The topping and the syrup.